Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we are going to do the second chapter in structure of in advanced structure. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's get started. The chapter is Annawa Uma, which means types of ma. So previously we have learned 5 kinds of ma. Ma al-istifhamiyya, which comes in a question. Then ma an-nafiya, which comes as a refutation. Then ma al-mawsula, which comes as a relative pronoun like allazi, allati. And then ma ash-shartiya, which comes in a jumlatu shartiya as one of the adwatu jazima. So a conditional sentence. And ma at-tajbiya, which represents amazement. So let's look at some of the example. Ma ismuka, which means what is your name? So here ma is coming in a question representing what. Then you have ma allamahu, which means no, he did not teach him. Over here, ma is being used as refuting something, so it's ma annafia. Then you have ta'allamtu ma qara'tuhu, which means I learned whatever I read. So this is coming as a mosula, like allazina, allati. It is used as that. Ma ashatiya is we have an example ma tata'allamu min kutubin fahuwa mufidun, which means whatever you learn from a book is useful. It is coming as a condition that whatever you learn is useful. So ma is coming here as a adwatu jazima shart. Then you have this pattern over here. This is the pattern that we use for showing us amazement. Ma and the fail with the whoever is feeling that. So this will be, by the way, translated as how persistent they are in pursuit of the fire, which is showing amazement. Ma asbara hum is like a pattern that we follow. Ma af'ala hu. It's a pattern that we follow for showing amazement. So this is for that. Now let's look at other kinds of ma which we have not done yet previously. They usually, so I'm going to quote examples from Quran mostly, just for the sake of clarity. So there are three more ma, which are ma az-zaida, which means extra. It's not extra, by the way. It does serve a purpose. It adds like a stress or emphasis in a sentence. So it's not really extra in that sense. However, you can say that ma az-zaida come in a sentence which is already complete. So if you remove ma from it, the sentence will still have all the necessary components. Then you have ma al-masdariya, which is fake masdar. So masdar we know like Islaman, jihadatan, and all these masdars, taliman. So instead of those masdars, it's replaced by ma and the sentence you will see, so that you can call it a fake masdar. And then we have ma az-zamaniya, which is translated as long as much as. This is how it is translated. So we have a further classification in ma az-zaida. Classification in a sense that before that, yes, sorry. So sentence would be complete and correct without it, as I said, and the purpose is to provide emphasis. So this I had already mentioned. Further, we have to understand that ma az-zaida will come on a fragment level. We will study how. On a sentence level and in a conditional sentence also, to add more emphasis in the condition. So let's first look at ma az-zaida on a fragment level. Now, usually it comes for emphasis, just like ba zaida, min zaida. We have already done this before. We've covered this in, I think, intermediate Nahu. So just like that, ma can also be used to, and it can interrupt, by the way, a fragment, which is usually not long distance, usually. So the fragments which are not long distance, like jar majroor, mausoof sifa, they are supposed to be next to each other. So this ma will interrupt that fragment, And that's how you would know that it's interrupting a fragment which is supposed to be otherwise next to each other. So you can say it's ma zaida, and that is called ghayru kafatin, which means it allows the transfer of status. So in jar majroor with ism with jar, the majroor would be right next to it in jar form. So all the harf jar, right next to it, when you put an ism, it is supposed to be in jar form, but ma will come in the middle. However, the ism following right next to ma, right after ma, will be jar. So that is how it will. You can say that it allows the transfer of status. Now, one example we have is bima rahmatin minallahi linta lahum, which means so only by the mercy of Allah were you lenient to them. Now, here you will see that ma is coming after ba, which is harf jar, and it is supposed to have an ism which is in jar form right next to it, but ma is interrupting that, and that is how we know that this ma is ma az-zaida. And yeah, so sorry. So this would be the translation. So as you can see, ma is coming in the middle of a harf jar and majroor. So this you can say is ma zaida. Also, if you see, y is only in the translation because mutalik bil I think mutalik bil fail is given before mutalik is given before in the beginning. That's why only, which creates the, I think, exclusivity in the sentence when you have mutalik in the beginning. Mercy of Allah is something which has been emphasized, that only it was by the mercy of Allah that you were lenient to them. So you can say that mercy of Allah is something which has been emphasized by saying that it was only due to mercy of Allah that I think it is talking about we are talking about Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So he was lenient to them by the mercy of Allah, which has been emphasized. Then let's look at it. There are other examples also. I would strongly recommend that you read the book also for the examples. And so let's look at the fragment level, Maza Ida on fragment level. Sorry, sentence level. Fragment level we've already done. So sentence level. So it can come in Jumla Fi'liya and Jumla Ismiya both. It can be placed anywhere in the sentence. And oftentimes the sentence is not following the regular structure. Usually you will see probably the mutalik bil khabar or mutalik bil fail coming in the beginning. You will see maful coming somewhere before it. So you will see some sort of irregular structure in the sentence. So these are the two examples we have. First one is wama huwa bi qawlin. This should have, I think, the mean bi qawlin. Bi qawlin sha'irin qalilan ma tu'minun. So this will be translated as, and the translation would be, no, it is not at all the speech of a poet. How little you believe. So, how little you believe is something which is putting a stress. You may, with the translation, you can say that it sounds like amazement. Yes, it does, but actually, it's not the pattern that it is following that we learned before. However, if you see, there is a fail given in the, this is Jumla Failia, to Minuna, you all believe. So in order to stress it, that how little you all believe, in order to emphasize this, this is given. Uh, so this is here for emphasis. Now, if you look at this other example, which is inna kathiram minal khulata'i la yabghi ba'duhum ala ba'din illa allazina amanu wa amilu swalihati wa qalilum ma hum. So over here also, first let's look at the translation. You will see the structure is kind of, it's kind of different. So certainly many business partners, some of them transgressed over other, except for those who believed and did good deeds, how few they are. So you could have said that, are few, except for those who believe and did good deeds are few. So that would have completed the sentence. But in order to emphasize how few they are, if they are few, then they are very few. So in order to emphasize that, ma is given over here as ma zaida. All right. So this is kind of tricky to spot it. You can see over here that it is they are few is kind of coming in the end. So and again it does sound like ma at-tajubiyya, but it's not the structure which is followed in ma at-tajubiyya. And here it's emphasizing these people who are few in number, and ma is emphasizing how few they are. Now, let's look at ma ashartiya, ma zaida in a sorry in a shartiya sentence, jawab jumlatu shartiya. So it usually it comes with inna, which is when ma and inna is added, it will become a imma. Let me just reverse the. So this will make in plus ma will make imma. Then also we have to remember that it is often accompanied by noon at-tawkid in Quran. It is used for emphasis. So that means that the likelihood of so in shart, you would see that there are two parts. If something will happen, if one A will happen, then B will happen. So in when you use ma azaida, the likelihood of that thing becomes stronger. So that means it is most likely that it will happen. Now, over here you have an ayah from Quran. فَإِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُل لَهُمَا أُفٍّ آه، تقل لهما أف ولا تنهروهما وقل لهما قولا كريما. Now over here, if you see that let's look at the translation. If one of them or both of them reach old age around you, and it is very likely to happen, then do not express exasperation to them, and do not drive them away and say kind words to them. Now, this is talking about parents. So, why imma, as I told you, is in plus ma if one of them or both of them reach old age. Now, this is very likely to happen. Most of us, alhamdulillah, we have our parents reaching old age. So that emphasizes the shart that it is very likely to happen. So if it happens, and also it's very likely to happen. So this is in order to add more emphasis in the shart that the likelihood of this case A is very likely to happen. Now let's move on to next ma. And also, by the way, yes. So you can also, in order to add more emphasis, you can use iza, you can use la in, but iza means when it will happen. And it does not always happen, though it is very likely to happen, but it does not always happen. Not everybody's parents live through the old age. So iza cannot be used, and la in also is that it will definitely happen. No, it's not necessary it will happen. La will add emphasis that it will definitely happen, but it won't. It might not. So ma is something which says that it's not something which is sure to happen. It's not something it will happen, but it's very, very likely to happen. So, the certainty is, it's kind of different emphasis that you are putting on in that if it will happen. Now let's look at ma al-masdariya, which is fake masdar. So huruf masdariya that we have learned so far are anna, and ma. Now ma is something we are going to study now. More or less the rules are the same. Uh, we can see that al-masdar mu'awwal, this is called, by the way, al-masdarul mu'awwalu. One of the example that we have here is nahnu naqussu alayka ahsanal qasasi bima awhayna ilayka hazal qur'ana هذا القرآن وإن كنت من قبله لمن الغافلين. Now, translation would be, we relate to you the best of stories through our revealing this Quran to you, even though you were certainly from before among those who are unaware. Now, awhayna, our, so awhayna means we reveal. It's past tense, we reveal, but our revealing is the translation of it. We are not using it as an active fail. Our revealing of this Quran to you. So we reveal this Quran to you as opposed to our revealing. ING is coming, and if you remember, masdars give this meaning of ING or to reveal or revealing something. So that is what is being given over here. This ma is masdariya. It's coming right before a fail, and translation you can see is like a masdar. When you translate a masdar, this is how it is translated. One way of checking whether, one good way of checking that whether ma is ma masdariya or not, you have to replace it with actual masdar. So this whole phrase will be replaced with this phrase, be iha'ina. So iha'in is, if you remember the masdar, awhayna, awha, yuhi, ihanan. Ihainan. Iha'an, sorry, iha'an. So this iha'an became a light, and it also became a jar because there was ba. And if you see ba, and is a harf jar, which is like it's not a long distance relation. The majroor is supposed to come right next to ba, but ma is interrupting it, and therefore you can say that this ma, which is interrupting, is making this fail a sort of fake masdar. So this is one way that if the sentence is translated, perfectly, even when you replace it with the masdar of that fail, then you can say that it is ma masdari. Let's look at the two. You can say the differences between ma masdariya and ma masdariya and ma mausula is that usually there is supposed to be an I in ma mausula. You're supposed to have an I. So, and also it's not a necessity. I mean, ma and man, we have seen that, the ayat can be omitted. So we have that confusion when there is no ayat. First of all, if there is an ayat, that means it's ma mausula, straight up. But if there is no ayat, now there are two possibilities. It can be ma masdariya, it can be ma mausula. So this is an example of it. So ma kathirun minhum sa'a ma ya'malun. Now over here you see ma ya'malun is the phrase. Now let's see if it is ma masdariya or ma mausula. So you will translate them, and many of them, how terrible is what they do. Now this you can see it's ma mausula, what they do. And over here, and many of them, how terrible their deeds are. This over here is used as ma masdariya. So you see the difference in translation, that it can be either way. And I believe there is a reason why there is a kind of openness that it can be either mausula or masdariya. I'm sure there is a reason why Alamiya has, particularly put this sort of possibility over here. There's a, I think, balagha reason for it. So this is the two way it can be translated. What they do is, if you translate it as ma mausula, and what and their deeds are, which means over here if you say sa'a amaluhum, that would also be correct. So amaluhum is replacing ma ya'maluna. Their deeds is ma ya'maluna. So you can say that, this is replacing it. I think this should be a little bigger. over here. So this is the way it is. Now let's look at the last one, which is ma az-zamaniya, which is fairly very easy. Um, Over here, it means basically this ma would mean as long as much as. These are the two meanings which can be derived from this ma. Now, it is always followed by a fail, which is translated in present tense. Even if the fail is, regardless of the tense of the fail, it can be in Madi, but it will be translated in present tense. Now, one of the example is fattakullaha ma is mastatatum. Ma istatatum mastatatum. This will be translated as, so be conscious of Allah as much as you are able. Now, istatatum is basically past tense, but you can see be conscious of Allah as much as you are able. So you are able is kind of giving that presently whatever you are able to, as much you are able to, be conscious of it. So this is being translated, I believe, in present tense. And this ma, as you can see over here in the translation, is giving the meaning of as much as. This means it's ma az-zaman. This completes our presentation. If there are any outstanding questions, please do not hesitate to ask on the group. And someone will definitely, inshallah, answer you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.